Spoiler alert, guys. Before y'all watch the video, please make sure y'all watch episode 1 of the show because they will have spoilers. Like, y'all, we telling everything.
Right.
So make sure y'all watch episode 1 first and then come back and watch this video. Hi, y'all. I'm Ivy.
And I'm Yak.
And welcome to episode 1 of Showroom. So today on episode 1, we will be discussing the new Netflix series Archive 81.
You hear it?
Hear what?
So this is a new series that we've seen trending on Netflix, and when we watched the trailer, it immediately caught our attention. So we just knew we had to review this series.
Yeah, it was like dark, and then it looked like it was gonna be full of action. So yeah, we were ready for it.
Right up our alley. But before we get started, grab your drinks, grab your snacks. I don't know what you're eating, what you're sipping on, but grab all that.
Right.
Relax your body.
Clear your mind.
Open your soul. Forget everything you got going on. Forget your week at work. Forget all that. And come vibe with us. Welcome to our room.
Okay, everybody got their drinks. Everybody got their snacks. Hope everybody ready. All right, so now the first thing you see when you first open up the show, you see a girl in distress. Somebody talking about, what did she say?
Me luck.
You hear it?
Hear what?
She was saying help, like help me.
Yeah, she was. You could tell she had been through some things.
And just off of that opening, I knew, like, it kind of gave you like an insight to the direction of the series. Like, it's finna be sinister, it's finna be mysterious, you know, it gave that vibe. And so that's when we're introduced to Dan, which I would like to say is the main character of the TV show.
Yeah.
And just right off the bat, I could tell, like, by his demeanor, he's kind of like introverted, he's quirky. I would say like maybe like a loner of some type. So then we also know about Dan's career. Like, we know that he is a restorer of some type. Like, he restores tapes, audio, stuff like that. And then we also learn a little bit more about Dan by the way he interacts with others. Like, he has this friend named Mark. And you could tell, like, but first let's start off. Mark is a podcaster, and he podcasts on supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
So that also kind of set the tone for the episode because it started off with showing like his podcast and it got kind of eerie. And mind you, if y'all with murder, Asher is playing Mark. So we get kind of confused. Like, we still call him like Asher.
Oh my God, are you crying?
Oh, allergies.
Yeah, so that's Dan's best friend, maybe like his real only friend, because that's the main person they show him having interactions with. And just off of their interactions, you could tell like something that Dan is kind of experiencing some tragedy. You know, we don't know what it is yet, but we could tell that because just by the way of how Mark checks for him, like, you know, are you sure you're okay? Like, you're feeling good. So that just lets us know, like, okay,
he seemed
Dan
like a
been
good
through
friend
something.
off top. He do.
Yeah, so like we say, we know his career is a restorer. He restored tapes and stuff like that. So his boss gave him a job to do, which was to restore a tape that got messed up in a fire. And so he restores it, and that's when we're introduced to Melody Pendris, which is actually the girl that was in the beginning of the episode that was screaming and pleading for help. So we found out that Melody is actually a doctorate student, and she's going for anthropology.
Yeah.
And it's anthropology and something else. I don't remember what else she was going for. But so, you know, we get a glimpse of that from the beginning. We also know that she has a best friend named Annabelle, who is more, I would say Annabelle is more outgoing, more just more out there than Melanie. Melanie seems like a little bit more reserved. So we know that she wants to go, she's going on a trip to do practicum for her doctorate, which practicum is basically field work, in order for her to graduate with her doctorate degree. And she wants to do this practicum at this building called the Visser. And right off the bat, I feel like there's like some mysterious, but behind the Visser,
Yeah,
just
something
because.
ain't right about this place.
Yeah, just because Annabelle kind of don't want her to go, and we know that they're best friends and roommates, but it just seemed like a little more. So right off the bat, I'm like, what is this Visser? Like, like, go, what you doing? So
So Dan, he get to business though with the whole job. I mean, he get it handled. So he get it handled. All of a sudden, his boss is basically like, "Hey, the people who you did this for, they like what they seen, and they wanna hit you up with a meeting."
yeah,
So I'm like, so they're gonna give him a meeting. So he go up to the meeting, and that's when you meet Virgil. Now Virgil he's the head of the company named LMG.
is it LMG or LGM?
One of
One
them.
of them.
So so he head to the company. He get in there. He introduce him or whatever. He like, I like what you did or whatever. He offer him 100K
100K, y'all.
for a job. So I'm like, oh, 100K. I'm like, what's the catch? So Virgil tell Dan, he like, okay, the 100K is all good. I just need you to know that it's gonna be confidential. And he keeps repeating that. So I'm like, oh, okay, this must be some next level thing. But then he basically, at the beginning, he telling him like, of the meeting, he's like, yo, I don't really know you, you know what
Yes.
I'm saying, but I know you do great work. So in the middle of the meeting, he decides to just bring up how Dan's family died. He's just talking about like some personal stuff after he told me he ain't know him. And you look
Yeah.
at Dan's face and you like,
That's why I'm like, BS. Because how you going to say you didn't know nothing about him and then say the most personal thing that happened to him, his family died in a fire. So how you don't know nothing about
check
him?
it, the whole time Dan is feeling just like her. He like,
Yeah.
yo. So he immediately like, F that 100K. I
Yeah.
don't want it. I don't want the job. You got the wrong person.
Dan dips. He's like, I gotta go like this. Like, he just, like, he did too much. Like, so Dan ended up dipping, right? So when he ended up dipping, mind you, they told him the job was confidential and not to download any of the material. But Dan, little nosy, but he gonna download the material anyway. So he download the material anyway, and then he pulls it up on his laptop at home. So he watches the video at home, and when he watches the video, he notices something. So in the video, Melanie has a picture on her mirror, and the picture is with the dog. So Dan notices the dog because he had a dog exactly like that. So he notices the red collar, which is something that he bought for his dog that was named Chloe. So this alone, I feel like pushed him to take the job because he was interested in this. Like it felt like he felt like it was like calling
He
him.
nosy.
Yeah, he nosy, but then he felt like, okay, this is aligning for me. Like, what a coincidence that the dog that she has in her picture looks exactly like Chloe. So this pushes him to accept the position. So when he accepts the position, mind you, the position is out of town. He is riding with Virgil, and they basically going to the boondocks. Like, it's woods, and I'm just like, yo. So in the car, he mentions something to Dan, and it's something about his background. Mind you, every time he goes into something about Dan, it makes me think like, okay, you say you ain't know nothing about him. So he mentions something about his background, and then he quits to say like, oh, background check. We have to do a background check. And I'm just
Yeah,
like,
that's his answer to everything. Background
yeah.
check.
So they get to the spot, and like I say, it's in the boondocks, and he straight up tells him soon as he gets to the spot, no internet.
What?
Wait, first of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
The service is like really bad. So because of that, you got a landline phone. So yeah, the house is huge. Mind you, like I said, it's in the middle of nowhere, so it's away from a lot of stuff. So it's not like he could, go out. And it don't look like they have any neighbors or anything. So basically, it look like he's like completely secluded. And so, he shows him around, shows him the house, let him know that he need this job done, it's confidential, yada yada, all that. And so when he leaves the house, he says something. Well, actually, he gives him something. He gives him something, and it looks like a button. Kind of like the I slip and fell, and you gotta press the button to like call 911.
I'm having chest pain.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
So he kind of gives him a button, and Dan is looking like, yo, why you giving me this for? And basically, Virgil's like, I told you we did a thorough background check or whatever. And basically, it seems like that Dan has some mental health issues in the past. Well, that's what I'm concluding, because they said if you need help or if you need someone to talk to or something like that, press the button. And when they said they did the thorough background check, that just made us think like, he must have had some mental
And
health
remember
or
when
some
he
issues in
said
the
that he
past.
got upset?
Yeah, because it's just like, okay, like, I go back to saying you don't know nothing about this background check. Nah, I don't know. That was just, like, weird to me.
So after Dan sent him on his way, he like, okay, you gotta go. So as soon as he sent him on his way, I guess he like, okay, I'm getting paid 100K. Let me go ahead and do some work. So he grabbed one of the tapes, start restoring it, start playing it. So we watching the tape. Who come up? Melody. She right in front of the visitor. So it's like, okay, we about to meet Melody. Like, truly figure out what's going on with her.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, she in front of the visitor. So we about to get like an understanding of this building.
Yeah.
Soon as she get to the front door, we know there's a problem. The security guard, he's on some.
I thought he was a janitor. He just was like, yo, like, he owns some, I don't know. He probably janitor, security guard, maintenance, all
Yeah,
that.
he look like he do it all. But he ain't for none of the BS. So he like, hey, you either in or you out. You coming in or not? So I'm like, okay, he's straight to the point.
Right.
So,
And what he tell her, babe? Like, what he tell her?
oh, you know what he told her? He said, do not go to the 6th floor.
Yep.
I'm like, they got a whole floor you can't go to?
Right? Oh, flow for, like, that immediately was like, because the way he said it, we was just like, yo.
So then she finally get her room. She up in there. She just don't feel like everything is all right. So she like, I'm about to go to bed, give me some rest. And what happens?
The chanting, like, she trying to go to sleep, and she hearing some, like,
chanting.
kumbaya. Like, I don't know what's going on, but it's like this eerie noise, this eerie song, and it immediately wakes her up. And mind you, it's coming from like down below, so she's like trying to listen. And you know me, go, time to go.
Yeah, she
I
right
wanna
at the
go.
vent though.
She right at the window trying to listen. I'm like,
Don't forget though, the whole time the reason we can see everything is because I don't care if she's scared shitless. The first thing she got in her hand is that camcorder.
right? She got that
She
camcorder.
recording everything.
Yes.
So we listening to it. Dan over there listening to it. He got his headphones on. It's getting louder.
Yeah, my job, this noise is like crazy. So I'm just like, yo, what they got going on over here? And so, y'all, security guard, janitor, maintenance man, strike, telling me not to go to the 6th floor, strike 1. That little chanting, look, I would have been gone, but that's strike 2. So that goes on. She just listen or whatever, go back to sleep, and she wake up the next morning, and her whole goal is like, I want to meet people, I want to make friends, I
I
want to
gotta
talk
find
to
out
people.
what's going on down here.
Yeah, like I want to know what's going on in this building.
Right.
So she knocking on people's doors, nobody answering. It's like weird. Like she's like, nobody want to talk to me. Then she meets this little girl. So this little girl name is Jess, and she's actually really nice to her, really welcoming, and she's basically like, I don't want to say the errand girl, but she does errands for the people
But
in
she
the
said
building.
she the errand girl.
Yeah, she does errands for people in the building, and they pay her. And so she was like, I pretty much know everybody in the building. They trust me, so I can introduce you to the people in the building. And so, Melanie agrees to give her, a little $25 a week. And the girl like, okay, bet. So she shows her, to the first person in the building, and that's Tamara. And, she agrees to do the interview. And Tamara is she basically does opera. So she does, the whole opera show and stuff like that. And, she actually has a show, I believe, coming up. So she invites her to the show. I believe she invites her. Yeah, I think she invites her to come out and stuff like that.
Right.
But she was like, "Oh, so you want to listen to my opera?" And straight off the bat, she was like, "This song is like about dance." Like it was like a creepy song, y'all. So she started playing the song, and immediately, y'all, the song is getting louder, and Melanie is like being really affected by this opera music. So, oh girl, like basically like falling on the floor like I'm finna pass out. So Jess is like, "You okay?" And she helps her get her up out of there. But just that situation, just how affected she was by the music, strike three, out. Like I would have
Yeah,
been
you was already out, huh?
out.
So then it go back to Dan. He at the spot. He watching all this. So in the middle of him doing his little work, he decides, oh, there ain't no harm in me using the landline. Let me call Mark. So he calls Mark on the landline. So he talking to Mark. Now mind you, the whole time he talking to Mark, he talking reckless.
Yeah, like this supposed to be confidential, telling him, look into Tamara, whatever her name is, look into her for me. I'm like,
Yeah, so he giving all the information, and I'm like, this ain't gonna go too good. So in the middle of his conversation, hello, hello,
beep 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 beep. Beep beep beep
his
beep.
phone get hit off, and then it start do some clicking.
Yeah.
What you say? Strike number what?
Look, that's about 4-5 at this point. Like, well, for Dan,
In different spots, huh?
yeah, strike three because Virgil been pushing his little luck. So
So after the phone go out, he like, oh nah, I got to get to the bottom of this. He start probing around, looking through things, finding all types of stuff. He finds something over here. He finds something over here. So what does he finally find? A rat.
yeah, he found a little rat, y'all. And y'all, when the phones went out, Mia and Babe was like immediately like, something's up. Like we just thought, like it wasn't. He didn't have no privacy really.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what we
time to
immediately
go
thought.
right then.
Yeah, so y'all, he found this little rat, y'all, and I just want to say this because I don't know. He found a little rat and he tried to kill it. The rat like tail is caught or whatever, but he ended up fixing it up and making the little rat his little friend or whatever. So y'all, after that little ordeal, he finally go back into restoring the tapes, and then in the tapes. So yeah, so they go back to Jess's place, and Jess starts to interview Melanie, asking her some questions and stuff like that. And then Melanie starts to interview Jess again, ask her some questions, and it's like weird because she'll have little moments where she wants to say stuff, but then she'll just be like, oh, she'll say like, never mind, like forget about it or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, that's weird. And then one time, she
There's
just
something wrong with that girl.
yeah, one time she just pauses, and like she starts scooting back, and she starts basically catching a seizure, and Melanie's like freaking out like what's going on. And so it was so weird when she caught the seizure. Like the music was playing, y'all. I'm thinking I'm seeing shadows in the background. I'm like, oh look back,
There
what's
was
that,
somebody.
what's that? And the video starts staticking and stuff for Dan, right?
So after the video starts staticking and the phone tap, Dan finally gets smart. He like, oh nah, hell nah, something ain't right. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go out in the backyard and I'm gonna run out until I get a signal. He finally get a signal. He catch a signal. He call Mark. Tell Mark everything that's going on out there. Tell him to start looking into this and try to figure out this and all that. So after he do that, he say, okay, I'm smart. I'm gonna take a shoestring and I'm gonna tie it on the tree, so I know exactly where I came to get a signal.
Yeah, and
I'm
just
like,
to
look at him getting smart on the scene right quick.
exactly, and just to interject real fast, um, remember when Dan was on the landline, he told Mark to look into Tamara,
Yeah.
and Mark finally told him like, "There's no Tamara. She never did opera. Like I can't find anything about this woman, basically." So I feel like this is an important part because they actually do a flashback of when Dan was a child, and it was him and his sister, and they was actually playing an eerie tune that was being played at the Visitor. Yeah, it was actually being played at the Visitor, so that was weird. So they were playing it on the piano, and his dad immediately told him, stop playing it. I told you y'all, stop playing the tune. So he tells him to stop playing it, and he tells Dan to go take Chloe out for a walk. So he goes to take Chloe out for a walk, and he's out for a little bit. He's humming the tune, taking her out, and then when he comes back, the house is on fire. So that kind of gave us a glimpse into what happened, and kind of the events that happened around, right before the fire.
So then watching the tapes, and of course it starts staticking, and he like, oh shit, the scene changed, and now it's Melanie, and she crying, and she just asking for help again. So I'm like, they keep going back to this. I'm really getting kind of agitated at this point. And then all of a sudden, who that?
But mind you, when she's asking for help, Jess is also in this scene. So, this is a different scene than from the beginning. Jess is in this scene, and people are trying to take Jess away.
Yeah, so it's getting crazy, and out of nowhere, they're trying to grab Melody, and who shows up?
Yeah.
Dan's dad.
Yes, y'all. Dan's dad. And that's when stuff starts to click. Like, this gotta be deeper than what Virgil is letting on.
So then I know it. Nope, that's the end of it.
Yeah, y'all got to watch this show. Y'all
Yeah,
watch this episode. Let us know what y'all think about it. I think it was
right.
a great first episode. I think it showed, a little backstory on everybody and kind of like, where this, a little bit of where it's leading.
And got us definitely
But
wondering what's going next.
yeah, so much to be desired with this series. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to watch it. We'll see. We'll turn back tomorrow.
Yes, y'all, return tomorrow because we will be going over episode 2.
Yep.
And like, subscribe, and like I say, leave in the comments what y'all thought about episode 1, and what y'all kind of grasp from the episode and what y'all predict to happen. So that's all we got. Come get this fire content.